Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to another episode of Watchlist. Basically, think of this as like a monthly TV guide to be like, oh, what and when stuff is coming out that I'm interested in that maybe you'd be interested in too. And as I've recently done before, I will also be including links to the trailers in the description down below of everything that I'm talking about if a trailer is available. On October 2nd, we have the season 3 premiere of Lucifer on Fox, which I'm super excited about. I love season 2 and I'm very interested to see what they do with season 3 with a lot of stuff they set up in season 2. So also the question is, you know, without going into spoilers and everything, where do Chloe and Lucifer stand this season? Probably the biggest question going into this season. But I'll obviously also like what that thing at the end of season 2 was about. You know, I kind of did a thoughts and theories about it where someone had kind of told me their thoughts of like, oh, what that could potentially mean. And on that same night, on October 2nd, we also have the series premiere of The Gifted on Fox as well. If you haven't seen anything of it, The Gifted is basically about mutants. It's a Marvel show, basically following a family where like 2 of the children are mutants, and it's just kind of like, it's like from what I've seen of it, it does seem like more of like a like we don't even know like how many mutants are really out there. Does the Brotherhood, do even the X-Men exist? So like when I talked about it, it seems like this is kind of like roughly around the time of maybe Logan taking place, at least in my opinion. But you know, I mean, it looks very interesting. And on October 3rd, typically, you know, in these I kind of throw in some comedies that I'm kind of interested in checking out as well. But on ABC we have one show called The Mayor, which is basically like a rapper kind of ends up running for mayor. It seems like from the previews, it seems like it was kind of a joke, but then he gets the job and him kind of struggling, taking his own way of handling things, probably his own lifestyle, and adding that to being a mayor. So it seems kind of interesting. And there's also another show, Kevin Probably Saves the World. It's basically like almost like a guardian angel is there to be like, hey, you're going to be the one to save the world. So it seems like it's kind of probably more on the dramedy side, like a comedy drama about like, oh, like you've been like probably the most unlikely person has been given the job to like, hey, it's up to you to save the world. So I mean, it seems very interesting, and I'm very interested in it. So that's why I'm throwing it out there. They're both on ABC. On October 5th, we have season 2 of Van Helsing airing on Sci-Fi, which I'm super excited because like season 1 was ridiculously good, and I'm interested to see where they go from there. I've caught some of the previews, but I won't talk too heavily about it. But looks like things are getting very interesting. Like I said, especially the way season 1 left off. There's one character in particular you kind of saw like their story play out at the end of season 1 that you're like, I don't think I've seen that character at all in any of the previews. So I'm interested with that, but just everything else in general too. On October 6th on ABC, we have Once Upon a Time season 7 premiering, which is weird because it's on Friday now, which I think it's always been on Sunday. Maybe I've been wrong, but like for the longest time, I've known it to be on Sunday, so it's weird to see it on Friday now. But nevertheless, I'm excited for Once Upon a Time to be back because of what season 6 set up at the end. Like, it is kind of a spoiler, but there's a time skip, and I'm so interested to see how everything plays out. Now, basically, this next week is pretty much like, hands down, gonna be my favorite week of the month. Like, just because it's like all the DC shows return, so I'm like super excited about that. On October 9th, we had the season 3 premiere of Supergirl on the CW. Season 2 was amazing, and especially where they left season 2 off with, as well as some of the stuff I've seen in the trailer for season 3. There's one particular actor, really quickly, that I saw pop up. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen the trailers, but it's like, I'm kind of mad at myself for never pointing it out, because I didn't think about it before. I've seen some articles referencing this particular actress being in it, and I'm like, but more so than anything, I'm curious where Kara's story will take her this season. Because to me, like, I've had this mindset of like, for her, this might be a season of her kind of giving up on her identity as Kara and just embracing Supergirl full time. It seems like that might be a possibility, the direction the story might take in this season. Also, like, what about her and Lena? What their relationship's going to be like in this season? Also, what kind of villains can we expect? You know, so there's a lot. I'm super excited to see what happens. On October 10th, also on the CW, we have the season 4 premiere of The Flash. Super excited about that too, especially the way season 3 left off. Once again, no spoilers. I've talked about this in other things, but I'll mention it here in case you don't know. This will be a season that doesn't have a speedster for the main antagonist. So I'm curious that, like, I've heard that, like, the character's name, and obviously I won't spoil it, you know, just in case like you're more familiar with comic books, you want everything to be a surprise because you haven't read anything about it. But I'm very curious to find out about this villain. I haven't looked into them at all, so watching the series, it's going to be a big surprise for me. And on that same night, we also have season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow premiering, which I'm so excited for too, because once again, how the previous season ended, I know that's literally going to be how I'm saying, what I'm going to be saying about everything, so I do apologize about that too. I know next to nothing about the antagonist of this season either. I've seen I saw one tiny bit of the trailer that kind of show who I would assume is the main antagonist of the season, but I'm curious to see what stories and what time periods we go through this season. I wonder, are we going to cross paths with any new heroes across history or whatever in this season as well. And on October 11th, we have the season 2 premiere of Riverdale, kind of continuing the at least comic book related stuff. Which I'm very excited about. If you have not seen season 1 of Riverdale, you need to change that. So basically, if you're unfamiliar too, it's taking Archie characters but putting them more in a crime drama sense. It's very, very good, especially a lot of the mysteries playing out the way they did in season 1, and obviously season 2 is season 1's finale set up a lot of mysteries that I'm curious to see how they unravel in season 2. Me and pretty much everyone else kind of has that little remnant feeling of it's kind of like Twin Peaks minus all the supernatural stuff. And also on that same night, we do have the Shannara Chronicles season 2 premiering. Do note that it is not on MTV anymore. It is now subsequently moved to Spike. Subsequently, Spike had been, I don't know if it's still ongoing or not at this point in time, but they were re-airing the first season so that people could kind of catch up on it before watching season 2. It's also on Netflix if you've missed it so far, or you're just the first time hearing about it and you want to check it out for yourself, you can check out the first season on Netflix. I might rewatch it because it's been a little while and a lot of my head's a little fuzzy on some of the story. At least specifically on where some of the characters ended up by the end of the season. So I'm gonna be rewatching that before season 2 premieres. But I'm very excited to see how it plays out from what I do remember, and I've caught bits of the trailer too. And on October 12th, we have the season 13th premiere of Supernatural, which is crazy and weird to say out loud. Yeah, it's been 13 seasons. As you know, last season, I finally caught up after after being behind for 2 seasons subsequently since season 10. That, once again, neither here nor there, but I'm super excited to see what they do in season 13. I know nothing about what's going on this season, but season 12's finale, there was some some very interesting things. Try not to spoil things. There's a lot of monumental stuff that went down that is whoa, where is season 13 going to take us on this wild and crazy ride? And on that same night, also on the CW, we have the season 6 premiere of Arrow, which I'm super excited about as well because of how season 5 ended. I need to stop saying that. Obviously, it's kind of spoilers, but season 5 ended with a who possibly survived situation. So I'm curious to find out who survived, who didn't, what antagonist we're going to cross paths with this season. There's one character in particular who seems like a big focal point of the trailer, where I'm wondering whether or not they are going to kind of return as main antagonist level or not, or whether it's just someone else in general. I'm just curious to see the dynamic between Oliver and this said character, which is also weird because this means that Arrow is now on Thursdays, which I think ever since it premiered, it's always been on Wednesdays. It's from my recollection, but maybe it hasn't. But nevertheless, it's still weird. I don't know, it's always weird when shows move around different nights. It kind of catches me off guard. And on October 22nd, we had the season 8 premiere of The Walking Dead, which I'm super excited to see what they do with this season. Obviously, this is going to be a big focus, is the war against the saviors. Everyone coming together to take them down. The trailer even did set up some interesting things where it seems like there might be a little bit of a time skip. I'd assume it'd be around the mid-season point that the time skip happens, but I'm curious to see what, find out the context of the time skip, what happens, what's the status of everything. I mean, the trailer hasn't really shown you whether it's going to be a win or lose type of situation. I think either way the time skip would happen either way, but the curious is to find out who lives and who survived. Obviously, that's a big aspect of The Walking Dead. And finally, on October 27th, we have the season 3 premiere of Blindspot on NBC. Super excited about this because and other places will kind of say this as well, but season 2 answered so many questions. There were so many big developments, and it, much like a lot of stuff I brought up during this as well, Blindspot at the end had a time skip, you know, and I'm super excited because it's like that time skip set up even more mysteries, because it's like I'm curious to see like how will they handle this thing. Will they cut back and be like, oh yeah, this is what happened in between that time at the end, that time skip? Or is it something we're just gonna figure out as like time goes on from the characters present day? I'm curious to see where everyone stands, like where the team stands after this time skip. But obviously new elements to the tattoo were revealed in season 2 finale. I won't get too much into that, but also like what they represent and what this big mystery is going forward. I'm super excited to see what they do in season 3. The cast and crew to this show is just amazing, including Jamie Alexander. She does a fantastic job in this show. And on that same day, we also have Stranger Things season 2 dropping on Netflix. Super excited about that because season 1 was phenomenal. If you have not seen season 1 of Stranger Things, change that. It's ridiculously good. But like so much about the show is so good. Like if you're looking for like, you know, if you're, you know, into like kind of like an 80s vibe type of sci-fi supernatural fantasy-ish show, then this is like right up your alley. It's got like a amazing mystery element. The characters from top to bottom are just fantastic. Season 2's trailer seems like they're taking season 1 and they're one-upping it in just scale of how big things are getting. Obviously, you know, if you've seen the trailers, you know what I'm talking about, but things are getting like crazy big, especially for one particular character. I'm curious to find out about this character's like, well, there's multiple characters obviously. I'm curious to see like how everyone, like everything plays out for everyone this season, because I'm curious to see like, I don't know, just how it all plays out, because it seems like this might be the end all be all for this particular story. Like I don't know if you could really go beyond this, but you know, we'll just, you know, have to wait and see how everything plays out, you know. So that brings this month's watch list to an end. Like always, if I did talk about something that you may be aware of that you think maybe I'll be interested in, or as well as someone else, you can always bring it up in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.